Honorable members of the parole board, although I am grateful for this privilege to be before you today, mere words cannot express how appreciative I am to each of you, to everybody present today, and to all the citizens and communities of this Commonwealth that made it possible for me to be considered. I extend my deepest remorse to Sonia Leal. On November 10th into the 11th of 1994, I murdered Miss Leal. I alone am 100% solely responsible for my actions and everything that happened that night, including Miss Leal being assaulted, robbed, raped, and murdered. I wish I had stopped myself and my co-defendants, as I am also responsible for their actions that night. I took Miss Leal's life, stealing her potential for a great future. I think about the memories that I stole from her and her family. And I also reflect on what Miss Leal could have been thinking from the moment I met her and throughout that night. She was 17 years old. And she had to put some level of trust into me as a human being to even agree to get into my car. But I betrayed her trust. I think about how at every moment that night I could have treated her with dignity and respect, but I chose to be selfish and objectify her and treat her as less than. I wish I had treated Miss Leal with respect, courtesy, and compassion when I had the opportunity to do so. To all of Miss Leal's family, friends, and community, I cannot imagine the pain and devastation I caused you. I am profoundly sorry for doing so. I know I created a hole in your lives that will always be there. This was no more evident than when Miss Leal's sister recently spoke at my resentencing hearing in October. She expressed that she is traumatized every time she is informed of my transfer from one prison to another, or if an article is written, certain dates, or even random thoughts. I am contrite in my reflections on how my actions that night will continue to cause such pain. I would like to say that when Miss Leal's sister spoke at my original sentencing hearing in 1997, she taught me about empathy. I didn't have the wherewithal to recognize it back then, but her words have stayed with me throughout my life since. When she said, "He took something from me that he can never bring back, and one day, hopefully he will see that." I do see that, and I'm truly regretful. She also said, "Everything happens for a reason, and whatever was happening to her was nobody's business but her own." I would not presume to guess what Miss Leal's sister's intent was with what she said. I can only say her words affected me. As reflecting on her words throughout my life since has influenced the way I interact with others with compassion and empathy. I am sincerely sorry to Miss Leal's family for my actions. To my family, friends, and community, I abandon you all when I abandoned humanity, as I chose to take a human life. I caused you such anguish as you have had to live with the knowledge that someone you love committed such an act. I am sorry for putting you all in a position where you had to make the choice to support me emotionally, spiritually, and even financially. To each member of this honorable parole board, and to all the citizens of this Commonwealth that made it possible for me to be considered, I am responsible for causing you harm and trauma, as my actions contributed to you and your families feeling less safe in this world. I apologize for that. When I was 20 years old, I was reckless. I was selfish. I was angry and broken. I exhibited a lack of concern for others and how my behaviors affected the people around me. I lacked self-confidence. I blamed others for my own shortcomings. I was nowhere close to being a responsible person. And I allowed my experiences to distort my view of the world and to influence my own negative core beliefs. I am now a 50-year-old man who is grateful to have had the capacity to change. I now treat others with courtesy, respect, compassion, and empathy. I am now self-aware, and I am able to recognize when I am falling short, but I'm also open to constructive criticism. I do hold myself accountable and will continue to do so moving forward. I do accept responsibility for my actions and for my life. I was able to make these necessary changes and continue my growth in my humanity because I was lucky enough to take part in some meaningful, transformative programs over the years, such as Restorative Justice, Jericho Circle, and others. I not only acquired conflict resolution skills, coping skills, and problem-solving skills, but also an understanding of the importance of acknowledging the harms I've caused and holding myself accountable for doing so. My family and friends also encouraged, inspired, and then recognized the changes I have made. Their support over the years was instrumental in my growth as a human being. Whether it was my exes choosing to keep me in contact with my children, or choosing to be my friend, or my daughter choosing to allow me to be a part of my grandchildren's lives, my siblings choosing to visit, accept my calls, choosing to allow me to be a part of their children's lives, and now choosing to open their homes to me if granted parole. My grandmother, my parents over the years, my aunts and cousins just showing me such love and support, and now my friends choosing to be positive influences in my life and also choosing to open their home if granted the possibility of parole as well. I pray this honorable parole board recognizes that my growth and evolution exemplifies my remorse. With the continued support of my family and friends, as well as my own desire, I will prove with my actions that I am not a threat to public safety, as I choose to do no more harm to anybody or anything. And I ask this honorable parole board for your consideration.